Hello, everyone. My name is Julie Niederhauser, and I'm the Public Library Coordinator for the Alaska State Library, and I'm going to be sharing information about some of the professional development resources that we have available from the Alaska State Library. So I'm going to stop my video and share my screen with you. There we go. Okay. So during this short webinar, I'll be sharing information on some of the professional development resources available from the Alaska State Library. And I'll also be sharing why we encourage lifelong learning and how it benefits individual librarians and also their communities. So Alaska is a large state with a small and widely dispersed population. About 20% of Alaska is accessible from roads, so many communities can only be reached by air or boat. Alaska also doesn't have a university that offers a master's degree in library information services. So therefore, providing ongoing professional development workshops and classes is an important part of library development's mission of an excellent library in every community for every Alaskan. So being a library leader requires a very broad set of skills, and it also there are also some qualities that make for an ideal learner. In their article, The Ideal Qualities and Tasks of Library Leaders, Perspectives of Academic, Public School, and Library and Special Library Administrators, by Anthony Chow and Melissa Rich, the authors shared the results of 114 interviews they collected from library administrators over a one-year period. And the result of their research indicated that that ideal library leaders possess 6 qualities. And those qualities are empathy, which emphasizes compassion with a focus on people and openness to change and flexibility. Vision, which involves having a clear idea of what one wants to accomplish within the context of the library's mission. Communication, which means listening to and reflecting on others' desires when deciding on what steps should be taken next. And flexibility, which requires being open to change. So it's really important not to be too rigid. And flexibility also involves a commitment to lifelong learning in order to stay current with existing and new trends in the field. The other qualities were delegation, which involves the ability to recognize different areas of responsibility, such as project management, recognize that others may have good ideas and you're not the only one with really good ideas. And then integrity, that library leaders with integrity exemplify personal integrity, forthrightness, politeness, honesty, caring, and humaneness. So all of the kind of definitions of what those qualities were came from the article that was written by Anthony Chow and Melissa Rich. And I'm sharing that because I think it's important that when somebody becomes a library director, they probably may have had some training in the past, or maybe they came into the position because they love the library and they've been involved in the library over the years and they're very passionate about that. And so when they were looking for a director to fill in or take on that role, they appointed that person to do so. But it really, running a library, managing a library, leading an organization requires, as I said, some important skills and also some important qualities. So some of the skills or competencies that make for that librarians need to have to be successful. There's quite a few of them. And the competency index for the library field identifies the knowledge and skills required for librarians to develop engaging and vibrant libraries that meet community needs and exceed their users' expectations. And the competencies in the index are kind of in some categories. So there's the essential library competencies that everybody should have. And then there's library collection competencies, library management competencies. So the new directors would probably want to focus on those specific competencies, public service competencies, and technology competencies. So at the Alaska State Library, when we develop programs or as we're planning our year, what kind of training and workshops we want to offer, we base those decisions on a CE survey that we ask, that we offer every 2 years to librarians around the state. So every 2 years, librarians from all the different types of libraries respond to the survey, and then we take that information and we use it to plan the programming that's offered. And the questions in the survey are based in a large part on the competencies of the competency index for the library field. So we know that there's a specific set of competencies that are really important that librarians have. And so we try to develop training to support librarians being competent in those areas. So as I mentioned, the competency index for the library field, one of the categories that they have is the library management competencies. And if you go into their document, you'll see that those competencies are broken into these little smaller areas, such as community relations, facilities, financial management, and so on. And each of those competencies is kind of like a specific skill that would support someone being competent in that area. So this is a really terrific resource. And for somebody who wants to excel in the field, you could use the competency index to kind of evaluate yourself. And we've often encouraged librarians to use it in that fashion. I know that library directors also use it to evaluate their staff, to make sure that their staff have the ability to provide the quality of service that they know that they need to meet their community's expectations. So when somebody becomes a new library director in Alaska, we reach out to them with a welcome letter. It's a letter, but it's actually an email. And that email includes an introduction from me, a little bit about my role at the Alaska State Library, a link to the new librarian toolkit, which has a lot of information that we believe will be useful to new librarians in Alaska, information about the Alaska Library Association, and a recommendation that they subscribe to the ACLA listserv. There's also information about the CE grant and an invitation to attend a new library director's orientation via Zoom. And during that Zoom orientation, I will introduce them to all of the grants, services, and resources that are available to the Alaska State Library. And I also conduct an interview to find out if there's any specific needs that they may have. One of the resources included in the new librarian's toolkit is links to the Public Library Directors 101, which is a series of webinars. And the series includes your new role, community relations, planning and grant management, and asset management. And there's also a link to a learning guide, which is designed to be used in conjunction with the webinars. The Public Library Directors 101 series of webinars was produced by the Chief Officers of State Library Agencies. It was a continuing education connector project and was designed to introduce librarians to the many unique facets of public library directorship. And it's a really wonderful series. So anyone new into librarianship or new into running a library would benefit from watching those webinars. Our staff at the Alaska State Library offers 2 workshops specifically for library directors working in rural communities without an MLIS. The Small Library Institute of Management is a blended workshop combining an in-person workshop with a self-paced online course. And the SLIM workshop covers the areas of library administration, management, policy development, collection development, copyright and patron confidentiality, reference services, use services, and technology planning. During the workshop, there are many opportunities for participants to share their library experience and participate in informal conversations and to network with one another. And on the screen, you'll see a photograph from our 2018 SLIM participants. The other workshop that we lead is a Small Library Institute of Continuing Education. And this really is a leadership workshop, and we include in that workshop a project management requirement. So participants at the end of it are required to kind of develop a program with a community partner. We provide them with a little bit of seed money, and then we have them actually go out and do that and then report back to us on how that project succeeded. And they always exceed our expectations. Those projects are fantastic. And it provides the participants with a real sense of accomplishment because the projects are based on a real need in their community. And they're able to go through that whole project management process of identifying a need and developing a plan, finding a partner, and so on. It's just really a fantastic program. So our next SLIM will be held May 9th through the 12th here in Juneau, and we are busily working on that. We're really excited, and we already have some folks have registered, so very exciting. So we do support continuing education for all library staff in a variety of ways. Our continuing education for library staff webpage includes links to the CE calendar, a CE news, which is a little blog that we do, a monthly blog, Alaska State Library courses on Canvas, and library learning topics. So the CE calendar is a calendar of scheduled training events, workshops, and continuing education opportunities of interest to librarians in Alaska. All of the items on the CE calendar are free, and we try to make sure that there are training opportunities for librarians of every stripe. So that's public, school, academic, and youth services. The CE News is a monthly publication highlighting continuing education opportunities for public libraries in Alaska, and we've been publishing that since 2015. And there is a tab on the CE News with links to all of the previous editions. And the CE newsletter is also an efficient communication tool for us to broadly share information on upcoming workshops, webinars, and grants, and also about the good work that's happening in libraries around the state. Our staff has developed several online courses specifically for library staff that are available from our Canvas site. So we used to have a Moodle site where all those courses are, but we have recently transferred those to Canvas. And those courses include strategic staff development, how to respond when law enforcement arrives in your library, the online component of SLIM, and several other courses as well. Library staff looking for information on collection development, leadership, services and programs, youth services can find a wealth of resources on such as LibGuides that we have recorded. LibGuides that we have created with resources on the specific topics, as well as previously recorded webinars. And those are all kind of grouped under our library learning topics. We also, the Alaska State Library has a library science professional collection. So we have basically a reference collection of resources that we will lend or interlibrary loan. These are books that are very expensive, and oftentimes libraries will purchase them for their own collection, but they won't lend them. So this is a really wonderful resource for librarians around the state. So library, our professional collection of library science reference materials. It's a great resource, and people can find it by searching on the Alaska catalog. So the Alaska State Library has purchased access to short text for trustees, for Alaska library directors and library board members. And we have access to those series of webinars through December 2022. The short takes for trustees is a series of 10 short videos. Each video is about 8 to 10 minutes long, and they can be shown during a library board meeting to stimulate discussion about the important role that library trustees play in the governance of their libraries. And the video series include what it means to be a trustee, board meetings, board ethics, library advocacy, library policies, strategic planning, working with friends, evaluating the library director, board self-evaluation, and succession planning and new board orientation. The Alaska State Library has also purchased a block of 30 seats to the InfoPeople online instructor-led training sessions. And these seats may be used by any Alaska Library staff member during FY22. And we do distribute those seats in an equitable manner to ensure that participants from libraries of all sizes, all types, and in all regions of the state are represented. And so there is a online registration form. People will go to anyone interested in the InfoPeople Course Seat will go to their site, look at the trainings that are coming up, and then they'll fill out an online form on our InfoPeople Course Seat LibGuide, and then they will ask for permission to use one of those seats, and then I will actually register them, and then InfoPeople will send them their course information so they can log into the course when it becomes available. And as I mentioned, we have the Library Science Professional Collection, which is really a great resource as well. So the Alaska State Library also has continuing education grants. And you'll see on this on the slide here that each public library outlet is eligible for either $1,250 reimbursement that one of their staff members could use to go to a conference, and that would cover the conference registration and their travel to conference and back. Or instead of getting that one larger grant, they could have 4 smaller grants of up to $300, and those could be used for 4 people to go to attend virtual conferences. So we kind of are offering these multiple ways of using the continuing education grants because of the pandemic. During the pandemic, no one was going anywhere. So lots of libraries took advantage of the $300 reimbursements for their staff to attend virtual conferences. And as always, our goal is to provide training opportunities to as many people as possible. And so those smaller $300 reimbursements was definitely one way to do that. So the process for applying for a continuing education grant is they will go to our grants page, and there is an application. There's also a document with the guidelines. We encourage anyone who's interested in applying for a grant to review those guidelines and then submit an application. A staff member will need to have their director sign off on their grant application. Once their application is received and approved, they will receive an award letter letting them know that their grant was approved, and then they should go ahead and make their travel plans. They should attend the event, and then when they come back, they will need to submit a reimbursement form and a final report form. And once we receive that, then they will receive the reimbursement check. So we don't pay the money up front. You or your library has to pay for your cost up front, but we will reimburse you for your CE. We encourage librarians to join library associations. Library associations, membership organizations are a great way for them to network and to hear about trends in the field, stay abreast of those trends, and also to attend ongoing professional development. We encourage everyone in Alaska to join up with the Alaska Library Association and also to subscribe to the ACLA listserv. But there's a lot of other library associations out there, and we encourage everyone to join as many as they would like to join, because each of them kind of have a different focus. Another great way for someone to improve themselves and become more professionalized in the field is to earn an MLIS. And the Alaska Library Association does have a general library studies scholarship. We do have library directors who were hired without the degree, and then once they begin, they're in the position, they pursue their MLIS. It's hard to do all of that at the same time, but these people are very focused and very dedicated and are very successful. So the ACLA Library Association General Library Study Scholarship is $4,000. People apply, I think the deadline is January 15th. And the goal of the scholarship is to provide financial assistance to worthy students pursuing graduate studies, leading to a master's degree in library and information studies, and to encourage graduates to return to Alaska to work in professional library positions. And scholarships may be awarded for both on-campus and/or distance education programs, and preference will be given to individuals meeting the federal definition of Alaskan Native ethnicity. So anyone interested in an ACLA scholarship can visit the acla.org webpage, search under learning, find the scholarship link, and they can view the eligibility requirements, criteria for selection, and access the online application and instructions for applying. The American Library Association offers a Spectrum Scholarship, and this is a scholarship in the amount of $6,500. So it's $5,000 to assist with education costs and $1,500 to attend the Spectrum Leadership Institute. And this scholarship is specifically for American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Middle Eastern, and North African and/or Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander college students enrolled in an ALA accredited library and information graduate degree. And the deadline to apply for the Spectrum Scholarship is March 1st. And so anyone interested in that scholarship, we encourage you to visit the webpage to view the eligibility requirements and how to apply and details about the benefits of the scholarship. So these are some of the sources that I referenced. You'll see this is the article, The Ideal Qualities and Tasks of Library Leaders, Perspectives of Academic, Public School, and Special Library Administrators, and when it was published, and also the Competency Index for the library field. So if you have any questions about the professional development resources available at the Alaska State Library, I encourage you to reach out to me. You can call me at 465-2916, or you can always drop me a line via email. My email is julie.niederhauser@alaska.gov.